Hello everyone, my name is Wesley Klemens and I'm going to be presenting to you my business presentation today. So my idea is to open a single licensed Starbucks location within New York City. My job is to convince you, potential investors, of why I think Starbucks as a brand is relevant, and I also need to convince you of why I think this is a winning idea. So the reason why Starbucks brand is relevant is because many individuals happen to start their days in a Starbucks. So whether it be a professional who's on his way to the office before a meeting, grabbing a cup of coffee, or a student studying for a midterm who needs a little pick me up, or perhaps you're just walking around town and want to get your favorite beverage. Whichever demographic you belong to, there's a good chance you'll find yourself in a Starbucks location throughout your day. In addition to that brand equity and the abundance of customers, our location preference of New York City will grant us constant foot traffic through the door of our business between locals, tourists, and seasonal times of the year, such as the holidays where there's an influx of tourists. We'll never have a shortage of customers in our cafe. So now we're going to go ahead and take a moment to talk about the market conditions within the retail coffee industry. So in the second quarter of this year, 2024, Starbucks had a 40.67% of the market share within the retail coffee industry, and their biggest competitor, McDonald's, had 28.72%. And this is according to a study done by CSI Market. And now, in regard to the retail coffee market share, the industry size is $68.5 billion. So that's a really large market share. And that was as of August this year from a study done by Statista. Additionally, Starbucks has a 20.22% EBITDA margin, and EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. And this is an industry standard criteria to see whether or not your operation is successful and profitable. So 20% is good compared to the normal 16% that other coffee retailers have. So having discussed that, we're now going to talk about some estimated startup cost and our projected profits for this location. So the average investment range for a new Starbucks opening falls between $228,620 and $2,888,700. And this was according to a study published in 2023. In this same study, the author Wolf mentioned that the average Starbucks location makes 1.2 million per year in revenue. And then lastly, as a potential business owner, I need to have $700,000 in liquid assets and pay Starbucks a $315,000 licensing fee to operate under their brand. So these are just some initial investments versus potential profit that are required to open this licensed location in New York City. Additional startup cost will be the down payment for the lease, which will be $10,000, $2,500 for business license and permit. So that's going to be the fire suppression permit. That's going to be a permit of occupancy, which all businesses in New York needs. Another fee is going to be the health department fee and various others. So we estimate that'll cost about $2,500. An additional fee is going to be the point of sale system. Starbucks partners with Oracle Systems, who gets paid off of a licensing royalty model. And so, based off some estimations, we're going to pay Oracle about $2,000 for our first year of business to use their point of sale system. We're also going to need to spend about $30,000 to make sure that the cafe is ADA compliant and handicap accessible for the restrooms and a handicap accessibility to get inside the lobby. And then lastly, we're going to need an additional $30,000 to pay for the tables, furniture, and fixtures, and this enables our customers to have a good experience within our cafes. So now we're going to talk about the average unit cost, the variability in that cost, how many units we project will move per year, and then that yearly profit. So the average cost per cup of coffee is going to be $6 per unit with a variability of $2.50 per unit. We're projecting that will move 254,000 units. That will give us $1,524,000 in yearly revenue. Our variable cost will be $635,000, and that's going to leave us with a remaining profit of $404,800. So we found that 254,000 yearly cups of coffee sold based off of this estimate from a study published this year. In this study, the author mentioned that the average Starbucks will sell about 700 cups of coffee per day. So if we take that number times it times 7 days a week times 52 weeks a year, that's where we got our number, the 254,000 from. Now, at our $6 price point with the variability, it'll take us about 6 months to break even, and that break even point is the point where a business is revenue and a business's debts meet each other. We haven't made a profit yet, but we've broken even. And so we will break even at 138,343 units. And then once again, Starbucks is EBITDA margin is 20.22%, whereas the industry standard net profit is 16.2%. And this was according to a study done by the non-alcoholic beverage industry in the second quarter of this year. So we're going to talk about some initial funding. So the owner, I have went ahead and put out a second mortgage on my home and cashed out some of my 401k. So I have $700,000 in capital that the corporation Starbucks requires. I've already invested $315,000 into that license that they require. I had to invest another $100,000 in various startup costs, such as the furniture, point of sale system, making sure the cafe is ADA accessible, various permits and licenses needed to operate the business, such as the fire suppression permit, health department permit, permit of occupancy, just to name a few. And then lastly, some advertising costs, like putting a sign up on the building, for example. So, according to a study by the Harvard Law School Forum on Corporate Governance, approximately 75% of venture-backed startups fail. So we're going to talk about some reasons why they fail. So the first is they run out of cash, which is why I'm talking to you, potential investors today. They need to have a steady cash flow to stay in business. Inadequate management. Oftentimes this happens because a new venture and owner cannot afford to hire that many people to have that overhead. So because of that, they don't have a good management team in place, which causes the owner to have to wear many hats. And the more hats you wear, if I'm doing accounting, HR, payroll, merchandising, retail, customer service, all the above, I can't do all things well. Everything's going to get a half effort. And companies that are stretched too thin can fail. So the first thing I would do if I secured an investment from you today is I would go ahead and hire a diverse management team of qualified professionals to help me run this cafe. And another additional reason why companies fail is because they see their initial profits rolling in after they hit the break-even point. They get excited and they think it's time to expand operations. And when they expand operations, that could cause a cash flow crisis and they go out of business. So because of that, I have no plans on opening any other location within the city for a minimum of at least 5 years. So now I'm going to talk about some additional strategies I could use to avoid pitfalls. So like I'd already mentioned, I need a management team with a variety of experience and talent, which I plan on hiring with the money secured from you today. I'm seeking funding through various small business loans. So you are the first financial institution that I'm talking to seeking a loan. I plan on speaking to other institutions as well to secure other loans. And then ideally I would pay off all 3 loans that I'm looking for within 10 years. But if not, it's part of business. So I'm looking to secure 3 small business loans for $500,000 each with a fixed interest rate of 11.5% set by the Federal Reserve this year. I like the small business loan because it's a 25-year term. So from your institution, I am seeking just one of these loans. And then I will seek the other 2 loans from the other 2 banks or credit union institutions. And if I'm successful in securing all 3 loans, that will leave me with a monthly payment to all these institutions of $15,247.02. which is pretty reasonable for the size of operation we plan on having within the city. So now I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to talk about the power of interest and how interest should be an incentive for you to partner with me. So, firstly, I mentioned the strategy of our location. I mentioned the effectiveness of Starbucks' brand equity, potential customers, the projected sales, the unit cost, the break-even analysis, our projected profits, our EBITDA margin of 20.2%. So all these factors help paint a good picture of why our business will be successful. But if we're not successful as quickly as we hope to be, you can potentially make up to $1 million of interest off of this loan if I can't pay it back until the 25 years is completed. If I could pay it off sooner, you're not going to make the $1 million off me. But if I can't pay it off sooner, you could make $1 million off me. So I would ask for you to consider to partner with me for 2 reasons. One, I believe it's a successful business plan. I believe it's a good market. I believe it's a good company. And I believe we have a good product. And if you partner with me and we're successful, then a few years down the road when I try to open another location, I would like to partner with you again. But let's say if we're not successful in this venture, you're going to get your money back overnight with this interest. So I'm grateful for your time. I would hope that you would strongly consider partnering with me, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future. Thank you, and have a good day.